Lakeville and Minneapolis and Somerset, a torcon of 3. So a lower risk of a tornado, but not a 0 risk of a tornado. I think damaging wind will be the main threat, with a tornado spin up, an isolated tornado possibility. Here's 3 o'clock. You can see some showers out there. So again, as Chris mentioned, now would be the time to pack up, get home, get to your safe spot. By 6 o'clock, west on 94, that's where we're seeing some of those strongest of storms, the hail, the gusty winds, the tornado potential. Likely to see a line of storms from north to south moving through the Minneapolis metro by mid-evening. Again, that's why damaging wind will be the greatest risk, Chris. Certainly could get a tornado spin up and even some large hail along that line, though.
All right, that's all today. Let's talk about tomorrow's severe weather threat. Today looks good for central Kansas. Wichita, 86 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Got a bit of a breeze working in, and we may get a spotty shower or two, I think, north and east of us late tonight. But our big threat will be tomorrow evening. That's when the strongest storms will push through late in the afternoon and really into tomorrow night. And then notice that drop in temperature as we go towards midweek. Only 65 for your high once the front passes. The front will ignite storms, and we expect that, especially south of Kansas City into Wichita, into northern parts of Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. But some of these storms may be strong too up towards Chicago, the Quad Cities, working around St. Louis, and also stretching up into Michigan, central Michigan, from Grand Rapids even back over towards the west side of Detroit. So the damaging wind potential is there and is accelerated as we work our way off towards the northeast. So we'll watch the dying threat for storms early in the morning. There's 5 a.m. Then notice things kind of popping back up again heading into the midday hours. So around 4 or 5 p.m. we start to get these little clusters of storms popping up in eastern parts of Kansas and western parts of Missouri. That then continues, and we really got to watch those cells east of Amarillo, west of Oklahoma City. Some of those may get in towards the I-40 corridor and then stretching back into I-35, and then continuing to track these storms as they work through Missouri, stretching down into northwest Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. The risk for damaging winds will be there, certainly 60+ miles per hour possible from Lubbock, Texas, up through Amarillo, Woodward, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Wichita, Kansas City, Quincy, Davenport, Chicago, Green Bay, all the way up to Sault Ste. Marie. So still going to be busy even tomorrow, although our threat not as high for tornadoes, Alex, still going to have that risk of severe storms.
Right, and the hail threat is present again tomorrow, especially through parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. That's where the hail greater than a quarter in diameter will be likely. Where the possibility exists for 2-inch or larger hail, that is in that hatch zone. So from Plainview and Elk City up towards El Dorado in the state of Kansas. Amarillo and Lubbock, we look at a closer view of your future radar. Starting off during the late morning on Tuesday, very, very quiet. But watch as we get into the mid and late afternoon how those storms just explode over near the Childress area. Again, going from 0 to 60 pretty quickly and producing hail that could be greater than 2 inches in diameter, heavy rain, gusty winds, and also the possibility of a tornado. But I think hail potential looks to be especially high out of these storms across the I-40 corridor and south tomorrow. Now up into the Kansas City area, you're going to start the day with some heavy rain. So if you're out there for the early part of the morning commute, the rain will be coming down fast and furious around 29 and I-35, generally north of the city. We get a little bit of a break midday. Anything we see is going to be fairly scattered and light in nature, but during the afternoon, storms bump up in intensity, could be on the strong side for your late day drive with hail and gusty winds potentially focused in and around the city and areas south and east of the city. Even into the evening, 10 o'clock, you can still see plenty of action on our future radar. Tomorrow, we've got a torcon of 3 up into northern parts of the state of Illinois. So there is a tornado possibility. And as we move towards the Kansas City area, I'd say a torcon of 2. So again, not a 0 risk, but not an overwhelming risk. And that continues up towards Saginaw and Flint and getting into some of those communities on the north and west side of Detroit. Future radar from Milwaukee to Madison, we start off the morning with some light rain shower chances. As we get towards noon, now you see a little bit more on the radar, and those storms will move through in waves during the mid-afternoon, late afternoon, and even into the evening hours. Heavy downpours, gusty winds, and perhaps even some small to quarter-sized hail possible out of your storms. By the time we get into the late evening and overnight, things begin to wind down. Chris?
Well, coming up next here on Weather Underground, a strengthening Hurricane Agatha nearing the Pacific coast of Mexico right now. We'll explain why there's a chance it could fuel trouble in the Atlantic side later next week. And we're going to continue to track dangerous storms. We're going to get you to the radar. Eastern South Dakota really lighting up right now. That is where we've got numerous severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning. Well, let's get you up to speed with the latest here. This includes Madison, South Dakota, Herman, South Dakota, and Lakeview. Please take shelter immediately if you live in these locations. A damaging radar indicated tornado pushing in.
Your spirit is stronger than your highs and lows. Your creativity can outshine any battle.